There's this really smart lady who has a very powerful job designing very advanced, secretive scientific instruments for a very clandestine government contractor. But she absolutely loves donuts. So when her doctor told her she could no longer eat donuts at every meal, she knew she had to do something drastic. I went to a communication seminar that was the first in a series on developing telepathic abilities. First we had to undergo an experiential understanding from an internal standpoint of the intercranial visual auditory transformation function. This required we had to do some very difficult exercises where one person would look at an odd shape and then describe it to us using non-mathematical arguments about how to draw that same shape. There's a growing theory among paleoarchaeological astronomers about how we choose to perceive various constellations. Because there are countless stars in the sky, but only 88 recognized constellations, there is some kind of collective confirmation bias going on. The theory is that back before the Bronze Age collapse, the perceived constellations were much different than they are now and were a function of ancient Bronze Age mythology. One way to sort personality types is through bias and frame. On one side we have common and average biases, and on the other side we have strange and peculiar biases. And on one side we have weak frames, and on the other side of the spectrum we have very strong frames. Most of us and our leaders have very common biases. Those that lead have strong frames, and those that follow have weak frames. Then there are the non-common or peculiar biases. These range from anything that any random drunken homeless person may be muttering about to people that are locked up in straitjackets in the loony bin. So long as these are uncommon biases that are held with weak frames, they are not a threat to any organized society. Of the uncommon biases with strong frames, there are two possibilities. One is they become cult leaders that people are attracted to not because of the content of their frame, but that people are attracted to because of the strength of their frame. For many, being attracted to a strong-framed lunatic is much more enjoyable than being attracted to a medium-framed spouter of common ideas. But most of these cult leaders tend to burn out. When their number of followers grow and they become more and more powerful, they lose the plot and everybody ends up drinking Kool-Aid, or they end up going out into the desert and waiting for their spaceship to come and rescue them. But a few of these can hang on, and if they hang on long enough, they can create new religions and new paradigms that can shape society for thousands of years to come. If you looked up into the Milky Way, you could easily put together plenty of shapes, very much like when gazing up at the clouds. But that there are only 88 recognized constellations amongst the trillions of stars indicate there may be something much, much deeper going on here. Of course, I didn't pass this very important entry test. You had to be able to both describe this and understand this to be able to pass on to the next level of telepathic learning. What she did was fascinating, and she won't tell anybody exactly how she did what she did, but she invented a new kind of self-hypnosis. She probably could make tons of money by teaching this donut hypnosis to the masses, but the enemies of the donut industrial complex would probably kill her before she collected a single penny.